right, we're recording, so we can talk about that stuff that you wanted us to talk about now, because we're recording. So you go ahead and do that thing.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
I'll do that. I'll do that thing. Hillbilly Sam, Yosemite Sam.
No, that's more like this.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right. Well, hello, everybody. I am Tim from Las Vegas.
I'm Sam from the Pacific Northwest. Welcome, everyone.
Yes, and here we are again with another edition of the Western Contingent, talking about us and stuff we've been doing, games and things like that. So, what have you been up to lately, Sam?
I have been a traveler, a Midwest traveler. My daughter is had some stuff here in my house and her mom's house, and they needed to pick up a car and all of that kind of stuff, and she just messed up her ankle pretty bad. Her and her husband are roughhousing, and she tried to jump over a box and landed on her ankle wrong, and so that has made it difficult for her to drive a car long distances. So she needed help getting her car back to North Dakota and from here in Washington State. And so on Monday of last week, we went and picked her up at the on Sunday we picked her up at the airport, and then Monday we picked up her car, drove back here. She hung around in the area for about a week, and in that time we had a tow hitch put onto her car. We rented a trailer, we packed the trailer, and then on just last Saturday in the morning about 8 o'clock we headed out, and we drove from here to North Dakota in Fargo 2 days. We got there about 7 o'clock on Sunday, and I helped them unpack, get some of their stuff settled. Real easy stuff like, building TV stands and putting together a desk and, that kind of stuff. It's stuff that's easy to do. It's just that her husband is in school full time. And so I just tried to do everything that I could do to just take some of those menial tasks off the list, so that they could get back to normal a little bit faster. I stayed there for Monday and Tuesday, and then I flew back yesterday on Wednesday. And that's really kind of been my entire the entirety of what I'm doing. We did a little bit of shopping and goofing around while I was there, but generally it was just a time for me to help out my daughter and her husband and get them settled in. And it was fun. It was good. It was good to spend time with her, going on a road trip. We used to like doing that when she was still in high school. So that was a good bit of nostalgia there, but it was also good to just see how she's doing and where she's going and how she's going to get there. And so that's been me for the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks.
So how's life up there in Washington?
Well, except for the smoke has been, we've got 2 fires that are still burning just north of us. One's almost due north of us, and the other one is kind of northeast of us. They're both burning pretty bad, and that's putting our air quality pretty low still. And I think Monday or Tuesday, the air quality was at 240, which is in the purple range, which is really bad. Orange is where you can still kind of operate normally, but if it gets into red and then orange, you should basically just stay inside. We've been following some friends of ours. They own they own and operate a youth camp that's up north of us in a place called Camas Meadows. They've been posting a lot of really cool pictures where the firefighters are up there because that's where the fire is. They've given the firefighters basically a base camp to work from, because it's a huge, like a multi-building camp that have like bunks and bunk beds and that kind of stuff in all of the different cabins. And so they're housing, if I understand it correctly, they're giving the firefighters a place to camp, but they're also providing food for them as well. Um, and there's been some pictures of them just kind of the firefighters just in the backyard playing volleyball, that kind of stuff. It was cool to see them being able to use their what's normally used for their ministry in a way that is, since they can't use it for their ministry right now, a way to help the firefighters out that are battling that blaze up there. So that was a really cool thing to see, just when people are using the things that they have and using them in such a way that it will make somebody else's life better or easier in some way, shape, or form. And so that's been cool to see. The firefighters have dug 3 fire breaks in the direction of the fire rather than just 1 or 2. They're doing a good job, but they're strapped. They're strapped. I've read that they've had some of their funds and some of their resources taken away from them by the government, the state government here. So that kind of sucks, But the fires are, I think, the last was one is about 40% contained, and the other one is about 25% contained at this point, but they're still burning, and they're both burning southward, which is headed towards our direction. We're in no imminent threat right now, but all it would take is a couple of days of bad wind direction and strong winds, and that can make it a little bit more difficult for everybody that's in town. But everything's cool right now. But we'll have to wait and see. That's just how it goes. But what about you? How's everything going over there in Las Vegas?
Oh, it's been good. Good. My wife and I went to see a few shows last week. We went to see Carrot Top again. Haven't seen him in a while. Always puts on a good show. He's been there.
Yeah.
It's been like almost 30 years in town.
Right.
And, it was fun. And we went to see Shin Lim, who won America's Got Talent. He's a magician, close-up magician. So we went to go check him out. And then we went to see Mad Apple, which is a Cirque du Soleil show, but it's sort of not a Cirque du Soleil show. I don't know what they bill it as, like the other side of Cirque or something. It's not like a typical Cirque du Soleil show, but we really enjoyed it. It was like it felt like more like a New York street performer kind of show, but it had a really cool New York vibe, and we really, really enjoyed that show.
What was the name?
Mad Apple, MADAPPLE. Yeah, Mad Apple.
Okay.
Yeah, so we really like that. They even had like a stand-up comic in the middle of it, so it's like definitely not like a typical Cirque show. So it was really good. We did that, and then we let me see. I've been just Dice Tower West. It's like since Essen is coming up at the end of this month, it's kind of really hard with the publishers and stuff, because everybody's really busy. This is one of their biggest events of the year.
Yeah.
Where they have a lot of meetings, a lot of stuff like that. So it's just kind of tough coordinating publishers and stuff for Dice Tower West. And then when people get back, then it's sort of like a little break. But then they got PAX Unplugged coming up before the end of the year, so it's kind of a tough time. And my biggest issue or worry is about getting games from Germany because these stupid tariff things. Apparently, the EU has some kind of restrictions or something about sending personal packages, and different countries have different things. So I haven't gotten a definitive answer yet about shipping from Germany. So I'm not quite sure. If anybody who's watching this can chime in and give me or for sure a place to look or whatever answers, I'd like to find out, because I definitely like to get the games. So
do you know Matt from Zulu's Board Game Cafe?
I don't think so.
Matt Zaremba from Zulu's Board Game Cafe. He is actually for PAX Unplugged, I believe. He does a lot of the getting games from Essen to have at PAX Unplugged, and he does that in a number of ways. So it might be a contact that you can make to see if he can maybe help you guys out for Dice Tower West as well. I'll give you that information.
I mean, I have a German guy there, a guy who lives in Germany. Who sends me the packages. He got me the games last year and all that kind of stuff. So
at the very least, I'll give you Matt's contact info, and if you want, you can contact him. If not, if everything works out, then you don't have to. Okay. But I just thought he came to mind when you said that they're you were worried about it.
Yeah, I know, but it's just different countries have different restrictions.
Yeah.
Because the first time I was alerted about it was at the retreat. A guy from Belgium was the one who told me about the problems.
Mm.
But I did get a package from Ireland. I
Mm.
got games sent from Ireland, so that's part of the
Mm.
EU.
Yeah.
But apparently, different countries have different
Yeah.
things or something. So
Yep.
who knows? Who knows? Just
Yep.
a
Yep.
mess. But yeah, and then just busy with that. With the hotel and layouts and stuff. So it's amazing how it's still 5 months away, a little 5.5 months away. Dice Tower West, but it's still just creeps up on you, right?
Yeah.
Just
No,
like
it
it's
feel
a
and
lot of work.
what you were explaining earlier is good insight as far as to why it feels that way. Because I mean, sure, you've got 5.5 months, but you've got people that are gearing up for Essen. Essen takes, generally speaking, a week, and then people are usually spending the week before gearing up for it, or 2 weeks before gearing up for it, and then they have it, and then they want to take a week off because it's hard work. So that's a month right there from just one convention, and then you basically have to start getting ready for the next one at PAX if you're going to be going to both of those. And PAX is the same way. You spend a week getting ready for it. You spend a week there, basically, and then you spend a week, or half a week, kind of decompressing afterwards. So 2 conventions between now and then basically takes out 2 months of
Yeah, but
really making hard forward progress.
then you got the holidays. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you got the
Yeah.
end of the year. People
Mhm.
Q4 have to do all their accounting and budgeting and all that kind of stuff and planning for next. So it's a really really tough time.
Tight.
It's hard to get answers and get people to do things. And I understand. I mean, they're busy. They're busy doing stuff, but
Yeah.
but other than that, the ticket sales are going fantastic. Rooms are
Mhm.
selling well.
Good.
People are excited about it. So yeah, it's really looking forward to another great
Very
event.
cool. Very cool. That's awesome. All right. Well, what about some games that you've been playing here recently? I think we'll just do a couple each, and so why don't you start us off with that?
All right. Well, I just been playing a lot of the same games I usually do, but the one game I did finally get to the table, a new one I'll talk about first, and it definitely would have been in my top 10 30 minutes or less games,
Mm.
is Castle Combo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I hadn't gotten that to the table. I know it got a lot a lot of heat. I mean, people have been loving it. A lot of
Mm.
people have been talking about it, but I just never got it to the table. But since I got it to the table, maybe I don't know, 2 weeks ago, three, whatever, I probably paid it like 8 times or something.
Wow,
But it's definitely a fantastic. It would have 100% been in my 30 minutes or less game. It's
that's
quick,
cool.
it's
Mhm.
fun, it's good, it's engaging, it's thinky, it's interesting. But it's just right. You know what I mean? It's not over the top, not too light. It's really good. I really enjoy Castle Combo, and I'd highly recommend it. I mean, actually, I got a box sitting right here. Oh, where is it? Right there. There we go. Castle Combo. Um, so if anybody has a chance to pick that
Mhm.
up or play that, get that to the table. It is excellent, an excellent filler game.
Excellent Philly game. How I didn't see. I was looking at stuff. How big is that box? Is it
Oh, this is
small, little?
this is
Yeah.
well,
Okay.
here's my hand. So
Yeah. 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 I
yeah,
get you.
yeah,
I get you. Yeah.
it's
All
not that
right.
big.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I like those kind of games. Usually hit the table a lot because they're so small and so easy to teach and all that kind of stuff.
Have you
Short.
not played that yet?
Nope. Have not.
Oh wow, you need to get that to the table, Sam. That
Yeah.
is oh, absolutely. It's real. I mean, again, this past year, I mean, I've heard a lot about it, right? It's been out for several months now, and
Hmm.
I know it's been a big buzz. People talk about it. A lot of people love it.
Yeah.
I just never played it, and now that I have, it's in my top 10 30 minutes or less, and it's also going to probably go into my backpack bag too. Although you have to make a 3 by 3 grid, so a 9 card grid. So
Yeah.
table space, depending on where you are,
Yeah.
might be a little bit of an issue.
Might be
Um,
difficult. Yeah.
yeah, but it's just good. It's a really good game.
Neato. All right. Well, I don't own it, so I'm gonna have to pick it up somehow. But that's a good one. That's a good one. All right. Well, the first one I want to talk about is one that I just kind of stumbled upon. I didn't think I was going to be able to play this one because it's new. It's 2025 release, but it's a standalone Forest Shuffle called Dartmoor,
Oh, right.
and uh, this is one that was on my radar just because I liked Forest Shuffle, but it's not an expansion to Forest Shuffle. It's a standalone game, and they enter into a couple of different mechanisms for the game. Everybody remembers the caves from Forest Shuffle. Well, they still have caves in Dartmoor, but the caves all have like special abilities on them, and there's only 5 of them, and you are going to basically shuffle those up and then put them out onto the clearing, and then in reverse turn order you get to pick which cave you start with. Most of the caves are basically going to give you a beginning of the game special ability, where maybe you start with a larger hand, or maybe you start with cards that are already in your tableau, or you're able to draw a number of cards and then discard that number of cards out of your hand. So you can kind of fluctuate. There's one in there that just basically gives you in-game points. But that was an interesting mechanism, because before the caves were just caves. Everybody got the same thing, and you basically just got 1 point for every card in your cave at the end of the game. But that provides a little bit of a twist on an already familiar mechanism. So I liked that. The other thing that it brings into is a new terrain type, and that's moors. And these are cards that are placed in landscape format instead of portrait format. And they still have 4 places, but spots where you can put cards on them, but there's 2 on top and there's 2 on the bottom. So you can't put one on the left or the right. And there's a lot of different scoring combos that can happen in this, which is normal for Forest Shuffle. But I've only played it once so far. Jess and I played it, and I want to get it to the table some more, just so that I can see how all of those new things kind of work together. It still has that, and I know that there's a scoring app out there, and that it was made by a fan, and that it supposedly works well and all that. I've not had very much success with that app, and scoring for Forest Shuffle is atrociously convoluted. It's almost to the point where I don't want to play the game because I don't want to score it at the end of the game. It's almost like I'll play through the game and I don't care who scores. Let's just put it away now. That's what it feels sometimes with the scoring. We still want to play it though. We still enjoy the game that much, and we kind of suffer through the scoring right now, but it still has that, this card's total points that it gives you is affected by this, and this. So I have to say, okay, I get for this card, and now this card I get for this card, and then I go to this card. It's just one of those things where it's really hard. I really believe that Lookout Games needs to come out with an official scoring app that helps you score this game. Otherwise, I mean, the game's really fun. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy the game, but scoring it is such a chore. I could see Forest Shuffle taking a nosedive in the next couple of years just because people don't want to score it anymore.
Yeah, but also my issue with Forest Shuffle is, again, I'm just one of those kind of people, and it's just a me thing. I just don't like kind of knowing what other people are doing or what's going on, all this kind of stuff, solitaire games. And with Forest Shuffle, the way you got to tuck card or play cards or this or that, you have a tough time following your own tableau, let alone knowing what anybody else is doing, how they, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, it's like, I have no idea what you're doing over there. Great. You scored 500 points. Good for you.
Whatever. That's what I usually do. I'm the same way. Even when I try to, I can't keep track of what everybody's doing. So I never play the game that way. I never try to play the game that way. I just have a couple of things that I want to try to do. And I try to make sure the only time I really ever look at what everybody else is doing is at the beginning of the game. And I try to do something that nobody else is doing. And then it's more like I'm just picking my strategy and you're picking your strategy. Let's see which one works out better. and I'm okay with it that way. But I totally get what you're saying, where it feels like you want to make sure that you're drafting cards when you're drawing cards, or you're drawing cards out of the clearing that other people want to use, so that they can't get them. That saps a little bit of the fun out of the game for me, and I usually don't do that, but I have when it became convenient for me to do so. But I get what you're saying. It's one of those games where you can't see what everybody is doing all of the time.
Yeah, even most of the time I remember. Yeah, it's funny because Dartmoor is in Devon, the real Dartmoor Forest. I lived in Somerset, where the Exmoor Forest was, and the moors and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely beautiful. So if anybody who's been to those places or seen them, those parks like Dartmoor, Exmoor are just fantastic, phenomenal.
Well, that's one of the coolest things about the game, is that it does bring in new artwork. I mean, it's the same artist, I believe. I could be wrong with that, but it brings in new artwork. It brings in new, landscapes and new animals, new fauna, new flora, everything. And so that's the cool thing about it as well. And I am also glad that it's not an expansion for Forest Shuffle, that it is its own game, because Forest Shuffle right now is at the point where it's almost like base Carcassonne with all of the expansions. It's just too big, too many cards. I like that this is a standalone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess how many expansions are there for that game?
3, because I have 2, and I know that there's a third. There might even be a fourth, but I think I have 2 of them, and I know that there's a third coming out at Essen, I think. Or there's 3, and I know there's a fourth, because I know there's a new one coming out, but I think there's 2 with a third. It's one of those things where you have to remove so many of the cards out of the game. When you play 2-player, you have to remove 45 cards out of the game to begin with. And so, but when you add in an expansion, you have to take out even more cards. And so it's like at some point you're only using half the cards that you have anyway, with lower player counts at least. And when you have 5 people playing, the footprint is astronomical and the number of cards is astronomical. So I'm glad that this was a standalone.
Yeah. Great. Well, the other game, again, this is one I've played before, but I haven't played in a while. Another smaller game that I absolutely love. I've played this an awful lot. Is The Gang. That is the cooperative poker game.
Yep.
And it's one of those kind of things. Again, I've just really played a lot. And those cooperative games with limited communication or hidden information, things like that, is just my favorite genre of games. So I really love it. And the thing about it is, The Gang is it's so much more nuanced than a lot of people give credit for.
Yeah.
Because people, I play poker. I do, but again, it's not poker. It's a cooperative game. Right.
Yeah.
So they have to clearly make that distinction.
Yep.
And there's just so many micro metas, nuances to that game that, there are some people I play with who are get into it, who are at that level, who get into the micro, macro, or micro meta nuances and all this kind of stuff. And some people just don't quite get there sometimes where things you're like, but again, it's always fun to play. It's interesting to see how people think, how they approach it. But again, there's so much nuance that people just don't give it enough credit. Because, for example, you played the game, right?
Yeah. You taught me how to play, and I've played it other times after that.
Yeah. For example, like just the first round, right? To me, the first round is like real important. That you need to like pass the chips around a lot there, so you can kind of really settle in, and people are like, okay, great, now we're going to start the game. I think we're pretty much 100% where we all think we should be or are, and then go from there. But a lot of times you get people like, oh, okay, I'll just take if like the highest chip is left out there, right? Because everybody's fighting for the lower or something like that. But okay, I'll just take the highest one. Well, no, don't just okay. That's not giving communication. You're right. You need to give communication.
I feel attacked, but no, the The reason I say that is because I've played poker plenty of times, but I've never played it so consistently. And I'm not good at counting cards. I'm not good at doing any of that. But so there have been times where I have basically, somebody is like super, um, like super confident. No, this is the one that I need because I do not have a good hand. And I'm looking at my hand and I'm like, I don't have a good hand either. So I think I need that, but I'm going to trust you and I'm going to take the one that's higher. So I've done that before. I've just, because part of me is just like, there's a lack of confidence in what I think a bad hand is and what is actually a bad hand, or vice versa. What I think is, oh, I could see myself winning with this hand. And somebody else goes, no way. And I just don't know. Consequently, we've talked, JT and I have talked, and he's made the statement, yeah, there are a list of people that we will not play the game with because of that exact fact, because there's the game it's not that it isn't fun to play. It's just that for somebody that is on that micro level, like what you're talking about, if somebody that's not on that level can literally ruin the game, because you won't get the right or everybody won't get the right chips because people are just being flippant about it. And I totally understand that.
And it also, in my mind, or my opinion, it helps if people have played the mind, okay?
Yeah.
Because they need to understand that there's essentially a timing element, right? It's like,
Mhm.
okay, when you get your initial starting hands, the 5 white chips are out there. People look at their hole cards.
Mhm.
Okay, now it's kind of like the mind. You're like thinking, okay, nobody took the 5, so nobody's got like aces or kings or queens
Mhm.
or ace king,
Mhm. Mhm.
and the timer starts going down. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Oh, nobody's got pairs. It's still out there. Nobody's got this. Oh, wow. Now my ace 6 is probably high. Okay, let me take
Yeah.
the 5. So that's what I mean by little
Right.
micro nuances is people, because I've had people be like, I've had people end up with the 2, like say there's 5 people and they have an ace queen in their hand. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how does that happen?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I thought somebody had a higher pair. Well, nobody showed it. Like nobody,
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
spoke. And
Right.
when I
Right. Right.
say
Right. Right.
speaking,
Yeah. And that's where I've been in the past, where I'm sitting on ace king and I'm like, okay, I'll take the 5. But then somebody starts with, I don't know, pocket tens or pocket twos, for crying out loud, which will be the ace high.
right.
And they're like, well, I've already got a pair. I think I might need that. And it's that kind of it's that level of thinking where I go, man.
Right,
Because-
but again, that's what I'm saying as far as the communication. If you got ace king, you take the 5. If they got twos, they
yeah.
take the 5.
Yeah.
You take it back. They take it back. And then at this point, like again, because I've just as far as the nuance, then what you need to do is like put it in the middle,
Yeah.
right? This is how I approach it. Then you
Yeah.
take the 5, put it in the middle. Then I immediately take it and say, I've got a really good, like I've got one of the top starting hands. And that
Yeah.
should tell the other player, oh, okay. But if you
Yeah.
take it and put it in the middle and kind of leave it there, it's kind of saying, oh, I think my hand's really good. But if you've got a really, really good 5, then you take it. You see what I mean? So there's like
Yeah.
little nuances like that where you can speak without speaking because you can't verbally talk, right? But you got
I
to
got you.
show your
Yeah.
intentions.
I got you. I got you. All right. Well, the other game that I'm going to talk about is a game that is just got a reprint this year by Trick or Treat Studios, and this is called Scoville Second Edition.
Oh, yeah.
Scoville is a game where you're basically planting and harvesting hot peppers, and you're trying to fulfill recipes, and you're trying to fulfill the what do you call the demand of the market, and you're getting points from all of these different things. And in the new edition, again, I haven't played the old edition in years, but in this new edition, you're basically going to be playing through 5 rounds. And no, I'm sorry, 10 rounds, 5 rounds of the morning and 5 rounds in the afternoon. And whoever has the most points after those rounds is going to be the winner. And there's some tiebreakers in there as well. But it's got a lot of neat things going on for it. The new edition by Trick or Treat Studios has really neat plastic peppers that are all different colors, but they also have the letter of what pepper they stand for kind of engraved into them.
Oh wow.
So it's cool because it's not just reliant upon the colors. The letters are also there to help people who are colorblind. So that's a cool thing about it. The other thing that's cool about it is that it did come with I believe, a revamped solo mode, which I've played twice now, and it's actually a pretty fun solo mode. And then they also have another thing that's called in the Scoville Labs, which is a modular expansion that you can add to the base game that gives you some different things. I haven't played that yet though, but it's got Vincent Dutrait's artwork for the reprint. So that's what I actually picked it and Dartmoor up at the same time at a local shop up in Leavenworth, and played both of them. Well, I played Scoville immediately that day because I was that interested in it, and just have really enjoyed it. I've got an idea kicking around in my head, and I don't know how courageous I'm going to be to actually do it. But I was thinking that JT and I could do a playthrough of Scoville, and at the same time, in between rounds, we'll also do the Hot Ones challenge.
What's
Um,
that?
have you ever seen Hot Ones? Basically, Hot Ones is a company that does videos. They've had people like Shaquille O'Neal, you name it, as far as celebrities that have been up there. And you basically have to, it's a taste test where you have 10 different hot sauces and you have 10 wings in front of you. And level one is the mildest hot sauce. Then, so you basically have to put that hot sauce on the chicken, the wing, and eat the wing. And then the next one is a little bit hotter. Then the next one is a little bit hotter until you get up to level 10, and it's like, blah. I think it'll be a cool, kind of cross section of genres there, where I just think it'll be fun. We've already been kicking around the idea of doing Hot Ones challenge, but now that I have Scoville, I think that might be a cool thing to do. We'll see.
Yeah, I
But
remember when Scoville first came out. My friend Phil, who used to be my gaming group here, we played that a lot, and
yeah,
it was very good. I really, really enjoyed Scoville. I mean, it's a relatively simple-ish game, right? You're just trying to
yeah,
make recipes, or whatever, or get the proper things to fit the
mhm,
recipe card or whatever.
yeah,
But it's just it was. I remember I really enjoyed it. It was really good. It's
mhm,
a fun game. I
yeah,
have not even opened or seen the new components like you're
mm,
speaking about. We have it in the library, but I haven't checked it out, and I haven't played that game in a excuse me, in quite a few years.
yeah,
But I would like to get that back to the table because I remember I
yeah.
really, really enjoyed Scoville.
I would highly encourage you to do that. It's very fun. I've only played it twice in solo mode, as I said earlier, but it's such that a lot of the stuff that you're doing, it's not going to be a long game. There's not a whole lot of downtime or anything like that with multiple players, so I'm not worried about that per se. I just want to get it played and see how it goes. I'm probably going to teach Jess how to play maybe this weekend, and then we'll go from there. But I would definitely recommend you getting it to the table. The new components and the new cards, new artwork, it just really makes the game sing.
But other than that, I mean, has it mechanically changed at all?
Like I said earlier, I can't remember enough about the other one. You're still on your turn. You're going to have a draft. Well, I'm sorry. And in the round, the first thing you do in a round is you're going to have an auction where you're basically you're trying to get certain cards that are going to give you peppers that you'll be able to put into your stash. And then after that's done, you go through a planting phase. The planting phase is where everybody is going to be able to plant at least one pepper into the garden, so to speak. And then you're going to go through a harvest phase where you're able to move your farmer throughout the garden up to 3 spots. And every time you land between 2 plots that have a pepper on them, you're going to be able, that's going to allow you to harvest a pepper. So these two peppers, let's say it's a blue and a yellow, that'll harvest a green pepper for you. And then you go to the next one, and it's a red and a yellow, and that's going to harvest an orange one.
That sounds to me, that sounds the same, right?
Yes, and it's very similar. It's very similar as far as I can tell. The things that I think are new are, I think they revamped the solo mode, and I think they added in the Scoville Labs section of it, and then of course they gave the whole game a facelift with new artwork, new components, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like think Amun-Re, the 20th anniversary edition, and what they did with that one on a little bit of a lesser scale. Because they basically kept the game, as far as I can tell, they kept the game largely the same, but they just added in a few, bells and whistles and gave the game a facelift.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching for this episode of the Western Contingent. Sorry, this is a little bit shorter episode than we normally do. However, here's something to look forward to.
Suck it now.
Yeah. So on the next episode, what we will be doing is a top 10 list. However, it's going to be a little bit different, right? We're not going to like pick sort of a genre or this or that, and it's not even going to be sort of real specific. It'll be specific in the sense that we're not doing the top 10 games of 2025. We're going to do the top 10 games that we've played this year. So it could be a game 30 years old. It could be a game 100 years old, like a couple hundred years old, like Crokinole, whatever. It could be whatever. Right. But it's the top games that each of us have personally played this year. So
the most. Yeah, the games we played the most in 2025. That is correct. So
yeah, so that'll give you a little bit of insight into like how many games, like what we do in our own personal time by playing games. So
right.
Yeah.
We're weird.
We are, of course. All board gamers are weird. It's not a level, right? When you I'll talk about people being on the spectrum. It's the same thing with board gamers, right? We're on a spectrum. We're all weird, but we're all on the weird spectrum.
But we're all fun. Yes.
Oh yes, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you again for everybody watching. Sam, it's great seeing you again. And we will see you next week for another episode. But for now, I am Tim from Las Vegas.
And I'm Sam from the Pacific Northwest. See you later, folks.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games. We do top 10s. We play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.